Next, we're going to be removing the transmission. We've already drained all the fluids out and removed the starter. So next we have to remove the 2 bolts that cover the plate at the front of the transmission.
Here you can see the 2 1/2-inch bolts that we're going to be removing. This bolt here and this bolt here. And once those 2 are removed, this just slides down. And there you can see the bolts that are holding the torque converter to the flywheel. It's your 9/16. Maybe we need an impact. I needed 2 hands to get that bolt free. The next bolt is not accessible, so we have to rotate the engine. And in order to make that easier, I'm going to loosen up the spark plugs.
These don't look half bad. At least this one doesn't. Let's get the other 7 out and we'll see how they look.
We're going to have to rotate the engine, and so we're going to use a 15/16 socket and rotate it clockwise. We're going to drain the torque converter by removing this bolt. 7/16. Here you'll see that the torque converter is held on by 4 9/16 bolts. We'll need to loosen one, turn the engine in order to get to the rest of them. 3 down, 1 more to go. Now on to the other side. Now that the U-bolts have been removed from the universal joint on the rear of the drive shaft, and there you have it, the drive shaft is out. After removing the drive shaft, it became obvious that I wasn't going to be able to drop that transmission with the exhaust in place. So we removed the rear shocks and dragged the exhaust out of here in one piece. That will make removing the transmission a lot easier. There's a few more things that we have to do before we start unbolting the transmission. We need to remove the linkage, speedometer cable, and we'll need to remove these transmission coolant lines. Next, we're going to remove the bell housing from the block. You'll see that there's a number of bolts that are holding the bell housing to the block. All of them are accessible from the top here. Here's one, there's another. So here I've loosened all of them. I'm not going to take them all out just yet. Now we've removed the shifter linkage, the speedometer cable, and the coolant lines. It looks like there's one more vacuum hose. I'm going to worry about that as I'm lowering it. We've loosened the bolts that hold the bell housing to the engine. These 2 bolts, and you can see one right there, those hold the cross member in. We've supported the transmission with a jack and this board. What we're going to do now is we're going to remove these bolts for the cross member and remove the bolts that are holding the bell housing to the engine and gently lower it to the ground. Sounds easy enough. At least one more bolt. The bolt holding in the dip tubes connected to the heads. We took that one out as well. Now I think we're ready trying to separate the transmission by moving that back. And finally, with a little persuasion, the transmission is out.